Next on Worcester News Tonight, students at Holy Cross react to Trump's win in the election. Plus, 2 suspects lead state police on a high-speed chase that ends in a Worcester neighborhood. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Andy Madison. We begin tonight with the election. And while President-elect Donald Trump met with President Barack Obama today, there's still a lot of reaction on both sides about what President-elect Trump will do once he's in the White House. Tonight, students at Holy Cross tried to bring different groups together. Our Cam Jandro reports.
I think it's very important that we recognize that despite those differences, we are all Americans and we are all here in it together, essentially.
With the country divided on the presidential election, the College of the Holy Cross is promoting the idea of unity across its campus. The college is hosting Unity Week and hopes to encourage and understand diversity on and off campus. Amir Phillips is the officer of diversity at Holy Cross. He says it's a celebration of people for who they are, not what.
I feel like now more than ever, it's very important that we recognize the diversity within ourselves and the uniqueness within ourselves so that we can connect and relate to other people and how unique and diverse they are.
Thousands of people have taken to the streets in protest all across the country, refusing to accept Donald Trump as the president-elect and some celebrating his victory. Members of the Student Government Association say it's understandable to be emotional about the election, but Americans have to move forward.
I think what's most important for me is to affirm the feelings of students that are feeling really concerned about this and that are worried for themselves and for their families and for their friends.
And there's a lot of animosity there, and I think people need some time for themselves to really process what has happened and how they think they can move themselves forward and how they can make progress with themselves.
Thursday's discussion explained how diversity goes much farther than race or gender and deals with things such as faith, religion, and class. The main topic was political identities and how to put them aside in your personal and professional lives. Students say Unity Week is a great way to discuss such touchy subjects with their peers.
Unity Week provides an opportunity for us to come together and to talk about these things that don't necessarily have a space at other times during the year.
Now, Unity Week goes until November 18th, with events covering political identities, race, and gender issues, both locally and nationally. Here at Holy Cross, students we spoke with say in light of recent events, this couldn't have come at a better time. Reporting in Worcester, I'm Cam Jandro. Worcester News Tonight.
And the city of Worcester had a notably high voter turnout for this year's election. According to the city's website, the unofficial election results show more than 60% of the city's registered voters participated in Tuesday's election. Roughly 48,000 of those voters casted their ballots on Election Day, and more than 15,000 opted for the new option of early voting, notably high turnout for the state's first time with the option. Well, it's been one day since America discovered Donald Trump is the next president. While millions are excited about the outcome, many communities have concerns about Trump's administration. Our Brittany Schaefer met with members of the LGBTQ and Muslim community.
Grief, anxiety, uncertainty.
These are some of the emotions being felt by Worcester area Muslims after Donald Trump became the president-elect. Noman Kanani is a member of the Islamic Society of Greater Worcester and says he was surprised at the election results.
I think there was a decent amount of shock. We've talked about in the last year about registering Muslims in sort of a database, a very Hitlerish type of attitudes.
During the campaign, Donald Trump proposed a Muslim ban and a total shutdown of Muslims entering the country. Kanani says this is a big concern.
Almost feels like other in society, even though most of us have been born and raised here, and there's definitely an unwelcoming feeling to it.
Mark Gannett is the owner of MB Lounge, Worcester's only gay bar. He says he feels different being in a nation who made Trump president.
People that are LGBTQ and that want to come out, now they're definitely going to be stuffed back in the closets because they're going to be afraid to.
Gannett has been fighting for gay rights since he was 16 years old and says this election was a major loss for his community.
It's a sad time being 58 years old and myself having to fight for the rights that I have today, and it seems like we've set back 50 years.
Both Kanani and Gannett say they will continue to be advocates for their communities, especially through the next 4 years.
My flag's still going to fly. And then again, like I said, we're a progressive state. I don't think we're going to have the kickback here that other states are going to have.
We have a challenge in front of us right now with the next 4 years and what we're going to do. So we have to figure out come up with sort of a political strategy of what we want to do to make our society and the well-beings of all communities better.
Brittany Schaefer, Worcester News Tonight.
A gruesome discovery in Marlborough tonight where an infant was found dead. 2 adults in the home were also found unresponsive. Brian Burnell reports.
Authorities say at 11:48 this morning, Marlborough police got a 911 call about an unresponsive infant and 2 unresponsive adults at 43 Harrison Place. When police arrived, they found the baby dead. The adults they took to the hospital. It's a short dead-end street. Neighbors tell us a woman, her teenage daughter, and the daughter's baby lived there. They also said the baby's father was around a lot but didn't live there.
What do you know about the folks over there?
I know the mother was very spiritual. She held Bible classes. And I know that the teenage daughter was going to college. And I know that one of the daughters got pregnant and she carried till 9 months.
Frank Cahill was home nearby when the first responders got here.
I heard there was 3 ambulances out here. There was a fire truck and there was 4 cruisers. One was a state police cruiser.
It's a little freaky for the neighborhood just because it's a small neighborhood. Not a lot goes on here. We might not all know each other just because we're all passing by each other, but we at least have seen each other. And it didn't seem like anything that would happen on our street.
Frank has lived here since the 60s and says things have changed.
There's 2 drug dealers over in that house, and there's been wild parties in that one. And we got the code officer and the city council and the chief of police got them all out of there.
That was Brian Burnell reporting. Now here in Worcester earlier today, stabbing and a carjacking in Connecticut led police on a wild chase over state borders and into Massachusetts. And tonight 2 people are in custody after the pursuit ended in a Worcester neighborhood. Our Olivia Lemon has the details.
It was pretty scary. I was shaking. I was pretty shaking.
A high-speed chase ends in Hoda Surratt's Worcester driveway when suspects accused of 2 armed carjackings crashed into her parked SUV. Mass State Police say a man and woman are in custody, saying they stabbed 2 people before leading police on a 2-state pursuit.
I heard a car coming through, and then there was like 15 police cars, and then it like crashed to my car like this. I saw it from the window upstairs.
State police say they received an alert from Connecticut State Police around 10 a.m. Troopers were on the lookout for a Nissan Rogue. According to police, the suspect vehicle got off on Route 395 and onto Route 20 in Auburn. As a trooper approached the car, the driver, identified as 21-year-old Christopher Harding, tried to ram the cruiser.
We didn't know if there was some kind of ongoing situation.
People who live near Surratt say the commotion was unusual for their quiet neighborhood.
Absolutely shocked. This is a very, very quiet neighborhood, and we're right behind the Ecotarium in Worcester, and I mean, nothing happens down here.
It's actually a family neighborhood. There could have been kids around. The car was moving too fast. It was pretty scary. I was really glad no one got hurt.
Olivia Lemon, Worcester News Tonight.
The Millbury Police Department pitching in to help the family of one of its officers as their child deals with medical treatment. Officer Chris Paulselli and his wife have organized a Patriots theme event at the Millbury VFW this weekend for baby Preston Wohler, who was born with Noonan syndrome. Officer Jared Wohler and his wife have taken Preston to Boston Children's Hospital for treatment. Paulselli says they've received a ton of donations and feel it is important to pitch in and help the family.
Yeah, my favorite. There you go.
So there were a bunch of...
I just remember coming home at like 1:30 in the morning and telling my wife the story, and she said, we have to do something. We have to, we have the means to do something. Let's do something to help him and help the family. So this all started with like 1 television set being donated, and now you have a room full of stuff, and we're going to have a room full of people.
The event starts at 7. All proceeds from the event will go to the Wohler family. The region's Planning Commission looking at downtown Worcester during its quarterly meeting tonight. This is the Central Massachusetts Regional Planning Commission's only meeting during the fall season, and the group looked at the ongoing redevelopment and revitalization of downtown Worcester. The city is in the process of adding several new elements to the downtown area, including a hotel and a parking garage.
Homewood Suites. On the other side of our offices, we see all of the City Square development going on, or redevelopment.
WRTA Administrator Michael Church was among the featured speakers at tonight's meeting. Well, tomorrow is Veterans Day, and today the city took time to recognize one of Worcester's fallen heroes. Lieutenant John Vincent Power was severely wounded in the stomach while fighting in World War II and continued to fight until he was later killed. Our Rosalind Flaherty was there today and has the details.
A memorial to Lieutenant John Vincent Power has stood tall outside City Hall since 1947. Thursday, the city honored the hero.
There's a lot about a community, who it chooses to honor, and how it chooses to maintain those memorials.
The city restored the bronze statue of the Medal of Honor recipient and rededicated the memorial to the Worcester native.
Actions represent the greatest characteristics in all of us, and that earned him the highest honor this nation can give.
Marine First Lieutenant John Vincent Power died in 1944 during a battle in the Marshall Islands. The inscription on his memorial tells of a wounded Power courageously charging a Japanese pillbox before he was killed. He was just 25 years old.
No matter how many years go by, no matter how many decades pass, we continue to honor, we continue to hold in reverence Lieutenant Power and all the men and women who've served our country.
Lieutenant Power's family placed a wreath at the memorial. His great-great-nephew Jack was named for him. Jack's mother, Melissa Chandley, says it has always been an honor having the memorial to her great uncle.
Especially downtown, next to City Hall, where everybody can see it, and to see it restored to this beauty.
Lieutenant Power's nephew, John Chandley, says Americans need to be reminded of what our veterans and military do for us.
Sometimes they die for us, they get wounded for us, or they have, but that's their job, and they do, and we should be more aware of what they do for us.
Rosalind Flaherty, Worcester News.